What's going on, everybody? It is your host, Dr. Splash, and with me today, I have someone we have met before in the past, but he's been lately doing a lot of geopolitical and cooking channel content, so we haven't seen him as much. But he's back. Shout out to Chuck if you want to say what's up.
Hey, what is going on, fellas? Glad to be here again, man. It's been a while since we've done a collab, but it's gonna be a really nice topic, and I hope that you guys will enjoy it.
Yeah, shout out to Raffles for sponsoring this. He loved when me and Chuck used to do old school collabs where we'd kind of just chop it up. So we're doing that again. This is best fights, hype moments in fiction or comics, whatever you want to call it. I'm kind of going to freestyle my list just for the sake of entertainment. I think it'd be more fun for the video. Chuck kind of has his list, so it should be pretty entertaining. Like, subscribe, all that, and check out his channel. But without further ado, we're going to jump in. So, first one I'm going to talk about is this new. And when I say new, he's been shown before in Marvel, but it's a god called Hadad, the first thunder god. And he's a jackass. When we finally see that back in the day, he actually beat everybody. He had Phoenix as his Gucci mink. Death was a war club. Eternity was like a shield. It was crazy. And it took the one above all to come down and stop him. He recently came back and put Oblivion on a t-shirt. So, if we're talking about crazy fights, crazy fades, Haddad's resume right now is stupid. Like, it's insanely impressive what he's done. Like, and everybody gasses up Oblivion, so for him to casually just put him on a t-shirt and sit on a throne, his throne, that's disgusting. So I gotta start the list off with that for sure. And I'm gonna let Chuck drop his first one.
Yeah, before I go into that, I do want to talk about like that feat because Oblivion was like the big dog back in the day, and then like I feel. I mean, of course, the characters get stronger in Marvel. Everyone has been getting, power ups, so it does make sense that even characters like Oblivion aren't really top dog anymore. But I feel that it's just really insane that Thor and Storm and these other characters are basically fighting these gods right by themselves. And remember, just narratively, like these guys all had to gang up to like fight one of these threats that is immense to like the multiverse, but they can do it just by themselves or like in a small group. So it is a testament to just how insane the scaling really gets in Marvel that even a god tier is like now like low god tier, type shit.
Yeah, and like a crazier thing too is one of the like passive causes of Haddad bullshitting right now is Black Winter. Like he's like a passive happening because of Haddad's presence. So it's wild. But yeah, he's definitely a crazy one that's recently been added.
Okay, so I think one of my most favorite feats is when Superboy Prime pretty much just punches reality super hard, right? And he was weakened, and it did take him like a couple, like it did take him a little bit to like get through it. But either way, it's pretty crazy because just by punching really hard, literally, it just changed like all this timelines. It did a lot of retcons. It brought people back to life, type shit, right? So, I think it brought back like one of the Robins or something, right, that died. So, yeah, it's just pretty monumental, and it was clearly when DC wanted to make Prime like kind of like the next Gohan type of shit. Obviously an evil Gohan if you think about it, but it's just like, oh, he has like craziest potential out of all the Kryptonians pretty much. So, and then that's just like one of Superboy Prime's craziest feats, but I think that's one that sticks out for me a lot.
Yeah, that's like historically one of the greatest flexes ever. But on top of that, it's crazy how over time we've come to understand that feat's a lot more impressive than we initially thought. Like I remember when I first got into it, I was like, oh shit, he like broke a universe. He like reset a universe. And then when you actually get into scaling, you're like, oh shit, that was multiversal. And you get even more and you're like, oh, he retconned narratives that are beyond like time, space, dimensions, all that. So like just getting more historical perspective of how impressive that was is pretty crazy. Like, and looking back at it now.
And that's just like one of his craziest feats too, because he does get crazier stuff, especially when he fights the Darkest Night.
Yeah, shit. I guess I'll pass off to my next one. I'm gonna go with when Midnighter found out that his boy toy Apollo got taken by Naran, who like historically scales above the league. He's a Hell Lord, scales like above Spectre. He's battled Spectre blatantly. All this crazy shit. Midnighter's supposed to be a street tier. We're not going for that. He found out this happened. He hit up his boy on the black market, Shaman, and he was like, yo, I need the plug so I can pull up on this guy. Dude said, bet. I'm going to give you the black handle. Take this. You basically become invincible. Or not invincible, but it gives you the capability of going to hell and not dying when you're there. And it works for like 7 or 8 minutes. He's like, bet. Goes down to hell, not even using it at first, beating the shit out of these demons. Finds Naran, and Naran's like, yo, I'm basically God down here. What weapon do you possibly think you could raise against me? And Midnighter said, my hands. And starts beating the shit out of him. And would have killed him if the black candle didn't run out, or the midnight candle. So, yeah, he's the GOAT. Like, goated flex moment. What are the, like, pound for pound most insane fights when you think about what Midnighter's supposed to scale to and what he was doing? Like, he was openly dragging Naran. So, definitely wanted to bring that one up. That's an all-time favorite of mine.
Yeah, I definitely need to check out that Midnighter stuff because he always gets him up a lot. That's pretty crazy.
And it's Pride Month, dude. You have to, or you're canceled.
All right, I think another crazy feat that everyone knows about, even like your grandma is gonna know about, and that is like Superman, the pre-crisis version, sneezing away a solar system, right? Almost everyone knows about that. Even non-power scalers know about that, right? So it is like one of the best fiction feats that we had. That we had to like prove how strong these characters were, and then it's basically like the Roshi Moonbust or the Cell solar system statement for like comics fans. That's basically what it was. So really influential feat. Everyone knows about it. Pretty crazy. Not as crazy nowadays, but either way, it was a good stepping stone.
Yeah, I'd probably say that feed's probably top 10 most famous in the power scaling community. Like everyone's referenced it at one point, so I'd definitely agree with that. I think my next feat would be Thor scaling above God of Stories Loki. Chuck kind of talked about Thor is getting crazy updates, and I've been covering it on my channel, but him being the gate that held back the Utgard that were trying to invade Marvel's creation and would have wiped it out, and him saying, brother, I am the gate, putting on a Chad performance and then killing one of them. He has a weapon that scales above narratives and anti-narratives, and even when weakened after fighting these like high outer gods, God of Stories Loki still, with just his power, wasn't capable of putting down this Thor. He had to use an Eternity Mask arrow to hurt him. An Eternity Mask essentially is a weapon in Marvel that stats equalizes. That means God of Stories Loki scales above or below a weakened current Thor. Disgusting. He's the GOAT. Like, I think Thor can put hands on pretty much anyone right now in comic books.
I would say one of my next ones, I think this one is like, it's a really low-key feat. Not many people know about it, but it is in the pre-crisis run. Like, we already know how crazy Superman was in those days, but even the other Justice Leaguers were on that shit because Hal Jordan was able to literally cross a timeless, distanceless barrier. And, Superman did do this like down the line in other feats, which I'll talk about later, but it's just like crazy how fast these guys were even back then. People would say like, oh, like, they're just massively faster than light, but it's like, nah, these guys are literally moving in places that time doesn't matter, space doesn't matter, all these like measures don't mean anything, and they can just traverse through it. So pretty insane speed feat for sure.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw in a Sinestro feat and Yellow Lantern feat. It's from New 52 when the Pale Bishop and these different bishops like invaded Earth, and they are anti-emotion. They actually completely leave you devoid. They were gonna one shot Black Adam before Sinestro saved them. And it was crazy because on Earth, obviously the heroes are coming together, even the villains, and they're trying to hold off this invasion by the bishops and the paling themselves. And they're falling. They're starting to fall. Like Superman's going down, Wonder Woman, all of them. And they suddenly hear one of the citizens go, "Don't worry, the heroes are here to save us." And everybody had to look up, and it was the Yellow Lanterns, like, and Sinestro, and they're like, "Yo, fuck them up." And they just start beating the shit out of them. And then they throw Yellow Lantern rings to Superman and Wonder Woman. And, like, even though they were player hating, they had to lock in and team up with Sinestro. And Sinestro pulled up on the Pale Bishop and beat him. It was crazy. It's a lantern situation people don't really talk about. That was a wild ass feat for sure.
And it's always cool to see like the like the non-main lanterns basically giving their power up to other people, right? And the white lanterns when they pulled up was really cool as well.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
I think at one point they even did blue as well or something. I don't know, but I know for
Yeah,
sure that
blue
they've
sucks though.
yeah
Saint Walker sucks. If you're
yeah.
a Saint Walker fan, log off.
Uh,
No one likes you.
Damn, bro. But yeah, it's always cool to see like the homies wearing that shit. I mean, like fucking. I mean, like Yellow Lantern on like Scarecrow was really cool too. Speaking of,
Oh
I think
yeah,
it
for
was.
sure. And we got to see that stuff in that fight. Like
Uh,
all the villains were balling out with Yellow Lantern. It was sick.
I guess I'll go with my next one, and that is just like a huge vibe check to like Ares, and that was when Sentry pulled up and just ripped him apart. Now Ares, like, okay, I know you're probably gonna like disagree with me on this, but like Ares is basically like he's basically like a little bitch, like made Thor. Like he's not really about it. I know that back in the day he was kind of like supposed to be a rival to
No,
him, and
Ares
like
is I got a perfect
like
analogy. Ares is
uh,
Renji from Bleach. Like he
oh
swings on everybody and he's
uh,
supposed to be that guy, but like when it comes to substantial wins,
uh,
it's just not there. No. He sucks. Dude, he lost the Sentry, and then this is fucked up. I'm gonna follow up this feat you brought up. So he did lose the Sentry, got ripped apart. And it's still impressive because like Ares has fought Hercules, Chaos King, all that shit. But he gets ripped apart, and then he goes to Valhalla. And I'm reading this comic. It was following one of the video games, Tournament of Power, Tournament of Champions, or whatever. And in that universe, they're in Valhalla, and Ares is there. He's like, "Man, fuck Sentry. Like he sent me down here." And then he sees an alternate universe Sentry that pulls up from the game. And he's like, "Yo, that's the dude that sent me here. Fuck this guy." Goes to pull up on him. Realizes it's not the right Sentry. He's like, "Well, I'm still gonna beat the shit out of you because your alternate self put me here." Loses again, bro. I can't. Like he sucks. He sucks. He really does.
but
He could
yeah,
never
it
be
was.
Thor, dude.
Yeah. Okay. And then like I mean, this kind of uh, I guess like this feat kind of like is intertwined with this one because they like basically reference what happened to Ares, and that is when Null ripped Sentry apart in the same way. So, like just that huge vibe check was really crazy, especially because that's like supposed to be like a merged Sentry at that point, and he still got shit on.
Yeah,
So
I mean, like it's an iconic moment when it's referenced just a few years later.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that was one of the better ones. I'm gonna go with one of my favorite moments, which is Luke Cage was owed $200 for the work he did in the hood for Doctor Doom. Doom wasn't trying to pay up, so Luke said, "Can't." Goes to the Fantastic Four. I was like, "I need a ship to go to Latveria," and they're like, "We can't do that. That's gonna start an international crisis." He's like, "I'm taking the ship. I'm not asking." Fights the Fantastic Four, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know why we can't beat him up right now, but whatever." And Luke leaves, takes the ship, goes to Latveria, starts a civil war, breaks into the castle, runs into Doctor Doom, who's like, "Yo," and I heard a crazy black guy was doing stupid shit in Latveria. I knew it had to be Luke Cage.
Where's my
And
money,
Luke's,
honey?
where's my money,
Yeah.
honey? Starts swinging on him, and Doom's like, yo, I fought the Avengers. I fought the Fantastic Four. I fought demons. I fought Hellords. Like, what do you think you are? And he's like, you haven't fought the Luke, and just keeps swinging. And for whatever reason, this mattered. And Doom eventually gives him the $200 and asks him to just leave. And Luke leaves. Luke gets the 200 and is like, all right, peace. It's like, whoa, it was really just over $200. He taught me a valuable lesson with that story. Like, it doesn't matter how much they owe you, go get it. And Luke starting an international crisis and then returning the ship to the Fantastic Four and refusing to tell them what happened was so funny. They're like, yo, we heard there was a war in Latveria. Like, what happened? He was like, I ain't saying shit. And the comic just ends. The goat.
uh, I think that feat's really good too because when people say street tier in Marvel, they really do literally think that they only fight in the street and they can only fight like people that can destroy a building or a city block or something. But it's like, nah, the street tiers are actually fighting crazy stuff, bro. That even like a lot of these verses will struggle with, even though they're not even supposed to be like a high tier, right? But no, but we've seen Luke Cage like fight a lot of crazy stuff that you'd normally not expect him to, right? He's fighting stuff that even Spider-Man can't handle sometimes. So he's fighting like heavy hitters like Thor and Hulk and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's pretty good for scaling the homie.
Yeah, for sure. Hit us with your next one.
So I would say this was like a pretty dope feat. I think it's during the Cancerverse like battles. Basically, when they're fighting alternate versions of themselves that existed in a realm that had no death. But Thanos didn't give a shit. He's like, I'm gonna give death to deathless beings. Like conceptually, death didn't exist for them, and he's like, no, I will bring that concept of death to you. And he literally killed him. And most of them were like basically Hulk variants and Thor variants, whatever. Like a lot of these like. They're basically all like demonic variants of all the heroes and villains, and he just one-shots a lot of them. So it's pretty insane as well.
Yeah, I'm not going to gas that up because Thanos sucks, and I'm currently pushing that agenda.
Thanos
So
does currently suck. Not gonna lie, he got sunned by Hulk, but I mean Hulk did get a lot of upgrades, so kind of makes sense. But
yeah, I'm pushing the Thanos stories suck agenda. So I got to keep that together. But that was an impressive feat. I'll give him credit for that.
yeah.
I'm gonna go with Ben Grim, a Ben Grim moment here, and that's when he was going on a trip around the hood with the Fantastic Four, and there's this guy called Galactus, right? He's supposed to be strong, but I don't know why he thinks he scales the big Ben Grim. And what makes matters worse is when they're flying by this asteroid or moon, whatever it was, and they see Galactus. Galactus has the destroyer armor. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's the armor from Asgard that protects Odin. It's beat up gladiator, confident gladiator, like it's can fight Thor, like it's strong as shit. It's being powered by Galactus at this point. Ben sees this and goes, Reed, drop me off. And Reed was like, what? That's Galactus down there with the armor. And he said, I know. Drop me off. And Reed was like, all right. Ben hops out and tells Galactus, yo, you have 5 seconds to back up or I'm putting the pause on you. And Galactus is like, first of all, I don't know why you talk to me like this. Like you don't scale, so I don't know why you do that. But I have this armor here to beat the shit out of you, and it has the power cosmic in it. Ben beats the shit out of the armor. And it's so bad that Galactus gives up and leaves. Galactus is like, all right, for whatever reason, I can't beat you. I'm out. See you later. And just leaves. I don't even remember why Galactus. That's what kind of makes Galactus goated is back then he kind of just did shit. Like I know he has a cosmic purpose, but when he's not eating, he's just bullshitting. And this was one of those moments. So it's a godly moment. One of my favorite Ben Grimm moments. An amazing scaling too.
Yeah, I think that thing is pretty slept on. Like I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I don't really think he's really matching Hulk and Thor at their absolute best, but you know, he's definitely
Yeah, too bad he's knocked out Devil Hulk when it mattered most, and he's
Oh
fought
my
the.
God, he was mind control. He was come on,
You know that
bro.
no,
Come
like no
on,
funny
bro. It
shit.
wasn't even Bruce fighting, bro. Come on, dude.
You know that Bruce sucks. No one's checking for Bruce, but Ben Grim versus Marvel Universe comes out soon, right? Like no troll.
Wait, what is coming out?
Ben Grimm versus Marvel Universe. Kind of like how there was like Deadpool.
Nah, no
No,
way,
I
bro.
swear to God, I'm not even
What?
trolling.
That's insane.
That dude, that's my impact. I get these stories made.
uh-huh. um, let's see, where are we at now?
Let's do 2 more.
All right.
Each. Yeah.
Okay. I would say my next one is Tyrant fighting like all the Heralds. Like he fights basically the Annihilators at the time before they actually became that team. You know, you see Silver Surfer and I think Gladiator's there. Ronin, I think Ronin was there too. I don't know, but like a lot of these guys were there, right? And they're all like comparable to Thor. And Tyrant just shits on them like pretty easily. And you know, it's just like you just vibe checked all of them pretty hard. So it's not like a super popular feat, but it is pretty good for, you know, scaling Thanos, for example. So that's why I like that a lot.
I'm gonna shout someone out that I usually actually shit on. But I know what you guys are thinking. You're gonna gas up Silver Surfer and put him in like top 10 fights? No, I'm not. I'm not gonna talk about him. I'm actually gonna talk about the Human Torch, who also sucks. So even though he sucks, this is one of my favorite moments in Marvel, and I kind of wish they had kept this going a certain way narratively. But during the event where they're fucking with Annihilus, at one point the team is like getting trapped behind enemy lines, and there's billions of the Annihilation Wing, like billions. These are the beings that like helped capture Galactus type shit. And while the Fantastic Four and cronies are running away, Human Torch locks the door, and they're all like, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Go. Like, I'm gonna hold them off. Get out of here," and forces them to leave. And all we see is Johnny turning around to face billions of the Annihilation, and he just screams, "Flame on!" And like the entire page is just filled up with him going nuke, and we just thought he died, like saving them. And like just throwing down against everybody by himself. And they do like show later they bring him back and all that shit, but I think they should have kept him dead because it was such a goated moment.
Yeah, I think I mean, out of the Fantastic Four, Human Torch is definitely like he's supposed to be like the main firepower. I mean, literally, but it's more so, you know, it's an attest to it's how strong they really are, you know, because they do have like a power cosmic equivalent kind of. And I mean, Sue Storm herself is really cracked as well, so it does make sense that Johnny would be that strong, you know, especially because didn't she like break through like celestial armor or something? Because she could affect like the higher dimensions and stuff. So
Yeah, they all get weird. You never know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think my last one would probably be Superman crossing through the Source. Now, this is pretty crazy because remember, in DC, in much lower realms, there are already dimensions, or basically things that are above dimensions, that have no time or distance or, you know, any of these things, right? Any of these forms of measurement. And Highfather, like, he basically told Superman, like, it's gonna be impossible for you to really get out of here, bro, because there's like no time or distance. Like, how the fuck are you gonna do that? And he's like, hold up, I'm just gonna, you know, blast through it. And it's pretty consistent because he's rescued Darkseid from the Source. He's rescued Highfather's staff, right? So he can consistently like just pull up on the Source and just do things with it, even though it's supposed to be one of the highest levels of existence in DC. So that's pretty insane. Yeah, Superman's him. So
For sure. I'm gonna finish this one off with a feat that, you know, shout out Pride Month, you know, like we gotta do it big. And this is Spectre fighting high outer versal homophobia. So let me give a little context to this. So Spectre's making a walk through the park, and he sees there's this gay couple at the park, and they get attacked by this mob. And keep in mind, this story's written in '92, and it's the godliest story. Spectre '92 by Ostrader is just godly. And it's one of those things where you're pretty sure it's not supposed to be funny, but it's the funniest shit ever. And so the gay couple gets beat up, like they get hit with a rock and shit. One of them goes down, he's bleeding. He's like, "Honey, save me!" Like, and all that shit. Spectre shows up. He's like, "Yo, you can't just jump people in the park," and punishes them. Well, then of course he starts getting canceled because the gay guy that's conscious is like, "Yo, did you beat them up because they assaulted us, or did you beat them up because they're homophobias, or do you not care that we're gay?" Inspector just didn't say anything.
What the fuck?
And they're like, "Yeah, you don't care about us gays, do you?" And he didn't know what to say. He was like, "Yo, I actually don't know if I like you or not." And so Spectre flies to heaven in DC, literally in that instant, goes from Earth to heaven. And Michael's there, the Archangel. He's like, "Yo, Spectre, you tried to pull up here before, we had to scrap. Why'd you pull up again? You know I'm going to beat you up again." He's like, "No, Michael, I just have a question. Like, on God, I'm not trying to break in." He's like, "All right, what's the question?" He's like, "Do we rock with the gays?" And Michael's like, "You flew up here to ask that?" And yeah, Spectre's like, "Yeah, I'm dead ass." He's like, "Yeah, we don't care about gays because this transcends humanity. So, like, being gay and straight doesn't count in heaven. We're way above. We transcend duality."
Oh, okay.
And Spectre was like, "Oh shit." So we kind of rock with them. And Michael's like, "Yeah, I mean, I guess." And so he dips and he goes back. He's like, "Yo, gay guy, don't hate you." And he locks in. And so at that point, like, concepts of human hate were manifesting, and we're like starting to try to take over creation. And like human hatred obviously like fueled the spear of destiny. Humans' will and hatred, like hope, the idea of hope with Superman, all that, it's crazy. Like it does have insane scaling. So this is conceptual stuff. It becomes iconic, right? Like the Spectre is a part of the icon sphere in a way. Uncle Sam is a part of the icon sphere. These concepts that became bigger than what they think. But anyways, he's fighting the concept of homophobia. Like this is
Yo, baby.
this is like bigotry throughout the world, through America, all throughout time. Inspector's squaring up. He's like, "Dude, you can't beat up the gays, dude. They're chill as fuck." And he's just beating the shit out of this thing. And he puts it down. And it was the funniest like character growth, character arc, whatever you want to call it. It was amazing. And then eventually he fights Uncle Sam and gets beat up, but that's a story for a different day. It was amazing. Godly story, godly moment.
What's up?
All right, so
it
yeah.
reminds me of when Spawn, like, I think he like resurrected like this KKK member and he made him black or something.
Oh no, he didn't res him, dude. So he pulled up on the Klansman and he was like, "Oh, you hate blacks?" And dude was like, "Yeah." He was like, "That's too bad because you're black now, bitch." And he made him black and gave him back to his homeboys, who obviously they took care of him.
About it, yeah.
Yeah, they handled that. So yeah, rip homeboy. But yeah, no, that it was a godly moment. It's just moments like that in comics are just glorious. But yeah, that's our iconic moments, popular fights, fun fights we wanted to bring up. Y'all let us know what you think in the comment section down below, and let us know what collab you want to see next for me and Chuck. If you want to see a spin back, maybe do a versus battle, gauntlet, something like that. Let us know what you want to see. And yeah, Chuck, you got any content coming out soon you want to talk about or anything like that before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I pretty much have just a lot of Dragon Ball, DC, and Marvel stuff, some Godzilla stuff, and Invincible stuff coming up in the next couple months. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going hard. I just need to get everything dealt with and stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys like this collab. Thanks again for having me on, bro.
Yeah, and remember, it's Unity Street, bitches.
Yeah, peace.